The average age of cars and trucks on the road in the USA is 12.6 years, the oldest ever. But why? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about new data that says the average age of cars and trucks on the road in the USA is 12.6 years, the oldest age ever recorded. Now, this points to a couple of things. Well, there's more than a couple of things, but there's good news and bad news. The good news is this points to some reliability of vehicles. You're not having a bunch of jalopies out there that are falling on the ground and conking out after a couple of years. Although I have seen some hunks of junk out there putting along 75, 85, 95. I mean, some of y'all riding bald tires, your brakes squealing, your transmission is screaming, please put me out of my misery. Give me the old yeller. Some of your cars are pretty raggedy at best, but a lot of cars are in pretty good condition. That's the good news. The bad news is people cannot afford to get a new car in this economy. Not only in this economy where things are just kind of crazy, the jobs are not paying what they should, inflation is very high. Inflation has hit the car market in the real way. Now, before we get to the news and the data, let's look at some car prices, shall we? Because these prices are out of control. Now, here are some okay prices. Okay, this is a Camry, 2025 Camry SC, $33,433. Okay, that's kind of high. That's higher than the Camry used to be for that kind of model. And SC, that's kind of like a base model, right? I think maybe the LE might be a step below that. So 33,000, that's still kind of high. All right. And that's in Atlanta, Georgia. Your price in Los Angeles, California might be a lot higher. This is a 25 Camry XSE front wheel drive, $41,642. So that's kind of creeping up there for a Toyota Camry, $41,000. That's creeping up there. And then here's another Camry, $43,000 for that XSE. We're talking about a higher trim line. So I kind of understand, but still, they're talking about that's going to be $800 a month to finance, $630 to lease. So we're kind of getting ridiculous here. Now look at some trucks. This is ridiculous. Okay, look, this is a Taco, a 24 Taco, Toyota Tacoma, TRD, four-wheel drive. Well, at least I have a four-wheel drive and not a front-wheel drive truck, which is crazy. But this is a four-banger, four-cylinder truck, $53,000 for a four-cylinder pickup truck, a mid-size truck. This is not even the Tundra, which is the full size, okay? And if you don't know about trucks, the F-150, that's the full-size truck for regular people. We ain't talking about the 350 and the moving cars and whatnot. The F-150, that's a full-size truck. This is a mid-size truck right here, akin to, I think, the Ford Maverick. Not quite as small as the Honda Ridgeline, but $53,000, okay? Now, here's another one. This is a Taco, four-wheel drive, $55,000. Not even really a nice... Look at the wheels, basic wheels on it, $55,000 for a Taco, a four-banger truck, $55,000, all right? Now, we're going to get into this right here. This is not about Medicaid. This is about these cars being very expensive. We're going to get into a lot more details about what's happening with the economy. But first, a word from our sponsor. Online data brokers sell your information to scammers, hackers, and anyone that wants to use that information against you. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives' information is all out there for sale. I mean, look at what they found about me. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information, and they automatically submit opt-out requests on my behalf. Cleaning up my information not only helps me reduce spam, but it protects me from hackers who may want to access my bank accounts, social media accounts, and maybe even invade the inside of my home. I learned that the hard way back when I got swatted. It's 2019, I'm streaming as normal, and before I know it, I have not one, not two, but 6 cops at my back door, guns drawn. They tell us, get outside, get on the ground, and they go through the house looking for a tied up 13-year-old bleeding and whatnot. They came back very apologetic, talking about, I'm sorry, Mr. Logan, we got an anonymous tip that somebody was in here in distress. And the person who called the tip in probably got my address from an online data broker. You may be thinking, why would I need Aura, ABL? I'm not a streamer. I'm not a YouTuber. How could this service protect me? Well, AT&T just revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released to the dark web. AT&T's recommendation is use strong passwords, monitor your account activity, maybe consider a credit freeze or a fraud alert from a credit bureau. Well, Aura does all that for me. And the best part is that I don't need a bunch of different apps just because one company could not keep my data secure. If your data was in the AT&T breach, just activate Aura and eliminate your worry, because Aura is always on in the background, keeping you safe. I value my privacy and I value yours. Visit aura.com/Anthony Logan through the link in the description to start your free 2-week trial today. So this video is about the era of the inexpensive car coming to an end. They may give us some insight as to why this has happened. This is on PBS News. Check it out.
Only one, the subcompact Mitsubishi Mirage, and there are reports that it will be phased out in 2025. The average car price is now more than $48,000, and buyers are being further squeezed by rising interest rates.
That's something else too, because people are going to finance their cars typically. Usually you're not going to buy a car in cash off the lot, especially a new car, maybe a used car if you get your tax return or something like that. But even that day and age may be kind of gone. How are you going to really get a nice car for $10,000 that you can drive and it's not going to be a lemon? You understand? So people are going to finance their vehicles. And now that you have in the high interest rates, that's going to be a lot more expensive.
It's hitting younger generations particularly hard. Last year, those aged 18 to 39, Generation Z and millennials, had more than $20 billion in auto loans, more than 90 days overdue. Total outstanding auto loans are nearly $1.6 trillion. Earlier, I spoke with Tom Krischer, who covers the auto industry for the Associated Press. I asked if the era of inexpensive cars is over.
I think it might be. And then something else. There's quite a bit of outstanding balance. People not paying their actual car notes. So I wonder, how long are people waiting? Are the companies waiting to repossess the vehicle? Because the cars are getting repo. I've seen a lot of videos of lots full of repos, just car after car after car all over the place. How long do they actually wait? And I'm sure they're probably backlogged with repossession requests.
There will be some inexpensive SUVs, but the cars are cheaper, and those are gradually, they're falling out of favor with buyers, number one, and plus the auto companies don't make nearly as much money on them as they do more expensive SUVs. So the auto companies have gotten out, or a lot of the auto companies have gotten out of the small car business, and it just doesn't have the profit margins. So I think you're correct that we're probably not going to have any, or at least very few, inexpensive cars for a long time.
Nah, I mean, the thing about it is they may have small cars that you can purchase, but they're going to be kind of expensive. Like I showed you, like the Camry, $45,000 for a Camry might be the norm. They still got a $33,000. They still got that one, but you might end up paying $40,000. Okay, that might be the whole thing. And then other companies like Ford, they don't even make the regular, like the Fiesta and the Focus. I've not seen those at all. All they're really going to offer you is a Mustang. And I saw that they're going to come out with a 4-door Mustang. That's possible because they're trying to phase out the Chargers. And those were 4-door sedans, because a lot of those are being used for police vehicles. They may have the 4-door Mustang for police vehicles, right? So you might get one of those, but you're going to pay bare minimum $40,000 even for a used Mustang. A new one, $45,000, $50,000. And do you really need a Mustang? Do you really need a race car like that? Man, you might be able to get what's the EcoBoost, but do you need that? Is that family friendly? You're going to be having an SUV, like a Passport or a Sorrento, whatever those cars are, and you'll pay $1,000 a month for your note.
And not only there are very few inexpensive cars, it seems like at the top end, it's grown. It's not just that cars now cost $40,000 or $50,000, but there are a number of models that are more than $100,000.
Yeah, there are 32, according to Cox Automotive, that are over $100,000. And just 5 years ago, there were a dozen.
And the thing about it is these cars that are over 100 grand, these are not like what you would think. If you time travel from the year 2000 and you came to today and somebody said, hey, can you guess what cars cost more than $100,000? You would say like a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini. No. We're talking about 4 F-150s. We're talking about Toyota Tundras. We're talking about kind of like family cars, regular cars that are now costing more than $100,000, depending upon the trim you get. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of those out there in the market.
Granted, these are, though, a small number because they're mostly high-end European luxury models.
Of those two things you mentioned at the top, customer demand being lower for small cars and also the automakers chasing the profit margin, which of those factors is bigger, do you think?
It's a good question. I would think it's the shift to SUVs. Americans, since about 2012, have just started wanting to sit higher in vehicles, and they like the utility, being able to see sitting higher up in an SUV. That kind of started the downfall of cars. The auto companies saw the trend coming. So they started to get out of it because the sales were dropping. It used to be the mid-size car was the number one selling non-pickup truck in America. Now the Toyota RAV4 small SUV is the number one selling non-truck in the country.
Yeah, definitely. People want to have those small SUVs. The regular cars is kind of not really a thing. Especially if you got kids, you got a family. The SUV is like an economical choice. You want to sit up high. I mean, ever since I think my first car was a RAV4, 1996 RAV4, the first RAV4 that ever created. The first year that they came out with the RAV4, I had one of those, and I've been a fan of the bigger cars ever since. I had a RAV4, I had a 4Runner, I've had 2 trucks, I've had like sedans, but you never really get the feeling of being up high like that, like you have, and at least a RAV4, which is a mid-size SUV. But now I prefer the big trucks. So, yeah, that's what's happening. You're looking for a cheap car, good luck with that. That ain't going to happen. You're going to have an expensive car. And if you have a car right now that you like and there's no note on it, hold on to it because you want to go out there and get another one. You want to finance. It doesn't matter if it's new, used, you're still going to pay that premium when you're talking about the interest rate. And it's going to be a markup on the price of the car, whether it be new or used. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody that still has their car and it runs well from 12 years ago. Hopefully you guys can hold on to it. Don't let it become a dust bucket, a hunk of junk. Let it keep rocking and rolling. Do your maintenance because you don't really want to be out here trying to get a brand new vehicle if you don't really want to. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your thought on all these old cars being on the road? Again, the average age of cars and trucks on the road is 12.6 years, the oldest ever. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is a consequence of the inflation, higher prices for everything. People got to hold on to their cars. It's just, it is what it is. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.